All right, y'all, we're going to be talking about Last of Us episode 6. So, this was a really good episode tonight. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. So, we started off in the cabinet. So, this man and his wife, they got stuck up by Joe because Joe, he was looking for his brother Tommy. And y'all know Joe, he wasn't playing, so he had that rifle out on him. So, I was like, go ahead, Joe. Joe was. Joe's something else, shoot. So basically, the man and his wife, they was telling Joe that they had to watch out for what's out there. It's a lot of infected people, while they be on their travels. So I thought that was good, but Joe always go hard. So, Joe really don't trust nobody. I think that's why, when he got in that cabinet, he mean business. So, you know how Joe is. So, the man told him never to go past the river of death because there was a lot of infected people. And he told them to keep going east so that they'll be more safer and everything. So, I was like, all right, Joe, him and Ellie, they had to go out there and head east. But before they did that, when Joe got out the cabinet, Joe started to feel sick, so he put his hand on a pole and everything, and he was just, trying to get himself back together. But yeah, I was like, this gonna be a long journey for Joe. So Joe and Ellie, they started walking on the ice. They was really walking for a whole lot of days, and then finally, Joe, they had decided to set up camp in this cave, and Ellie was saying, they gonna eat rabbit. I was like, damn, they gonna eat rabbit? Like that's really well, while you out there, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta eat what you gotta eat. So Ellie said they gotta eat rabbit. They gotta eat rabbit. So heading out in the morning, Ellie and Joe, they was getting their stuff together and stuff. But they was really doing a lot of walking, a lot of walking and traveling. And also Ellie had said, she really wanted to save Sam back in episode 5, but she couldn't. But that was really crazy. I mean, she tried to though. I think she was cut. She cut her hand, and her blood she put on Sam's wound on his leg because he had got bit by that clicker and everything. But she tried to do what she could, but she just couldn't save him. So. Also in the morning, Ellie was keeping Joe safe, so she was patrolling the whole area that they was at when they had gotten the cave and everything. But Joe had told her, next time just wake me up while you do that, because Joe didn't want Ellie to do that on her own and stuff like that. So I was like, well, Ellie was still a big help though, just patrolling the area and everything. So I thought that was good. They just trying to look out for each other. So finally, Joe and Ellie, they crossed the river of death, and I was like, man, they gotta really be careful because it could be a lot of infected people or a lot of unknown stuff out there. So they started doing that, and then Ellie was saying, she don't know how to whistle, so she was trying to whistle and everything, but she couldn't. And also Ellie had told Joe, she wanted to learn how to hunt and everything. And we know Joe, Joe wasn't trying to Joe wasn't trying to teach her that. So Joe, he was looking at the map and everything, and this was a real crazy scene. So once Joe was looking at the map, they got surrounded by like all these hunters and everything, and it was so many of them, and they had no choice but to put their hands up because it was about like 8 of them. So as soon as they got surrounded, one of the hunters they came down and they had got one of their dogs on Joe because they asked him, "Are you infected?" And Joe was telling them no, but the Doug still came down and he smelled Joe, and the Doug went to Ellie, and that's when the music intensified, like it got intense and everything, and I was like, here we go, like here we go with this crazy music. That's how The Last of Us do, always give us the crazy music. So the music slowed down, and basically Ellie and the Doug, they were just playing, because Ellie was immune, so Ellie, really can't get infected and everything. So I was like, well, that was a big relief. So the hunters, they picked up Joel and Ellie, put them on the horses, so they arrived at the town. I was like, well, they are probably in Wyoming. That's where Joe had to look for his brother. And as soon as they got into the town, Joe had spotted his brother Tommy. And I thought that was really good because it was nice to see Joel and Tommy reuniting and everything. And it's just always good to see that. Good to see, when brothers they finally see each other for first time in a while. It's good they got that connection and everything. So I thought that was good. They was happy and everything. So they went and sat down and ate. Um, Joel and Ellie they sat down and ate, and they was eating a whole lot. They was really really hungry. From all that traveling and stuff. So they were just sitting there eating a real good meal and everything. But then Ellie, we know how Ellie is. She was kind of on the defense, like she didn't really feel comfortable there. So her, when Maria was talking to her, Ellie wasn't trying to like listen, but Joe was trying to like calm down. Like we in good hands. But guess you gotta understand from Ellie, she was just trying to make sure that they was good and everything. But it was nice. Yup, Tommy they gave him a tour of the whole place and everything. So then Joel and Tommy they kind of went their little way, and Joel told Ellie to go with Maria, but Ellie she didn't want to go, but she had to anyway. But I thought that was good so that Ellie could kind of calm down and relax in the new town, cause I know they was always used to being on a run and not trusting nobody. So I thought that was good. And then Joel and Tommy they had a drink and they was talking about the fireflies in Colorado and everything. And I was like, well, we knew that Joe was heading down there. That's what he was telling his brother, and everything. And they was talking about how they had to survive and murder people and talking about Joe's past and everything. So, I thought that was good. The brothers they getting back together and just having a nice talk and having a nice drink. I thought that was good. And then Tommy had told Joe that him and Maria they was having a baby. So I was like, that's good. And I think Joe was happy for him, but I know his mind was on other stuff, so it kind of felt like he wasn't really happy for him. But basically, Tommy was like he kind of felt scared because it would be his first time being a father. So he was just like, hopefully, he'll be a good father for that baby and everything. And I was thinking like, he could, it'll work out. Tommy and Maria, they make a nice couple, so I thought everything could work out. But Joel and Tommy had a little tension, just like I was saying, Joe didn't. It seemed like he was happy for Tommy, but then just seemed like he wasn't because of all the stuff that he was going through, and he was basically saying, Joe, like it's good, you gotta be happy for me, he about to have this baby and everything, but you know how Joel is with so much on his mind and stuff. So that's why Tommy was like, seemed like they didn't see eye to eye on that part though. But I was like, it was all right. Joe just always just got a lot on his mind. So then they turn it to where Ellie goes into this house, and at first it was empty. She was looking around, but then Maria, Tommy's wife, had came out and everything, and she gave her a new jacket because Ellie needed it because from all that traveling and stuff, and they needed, something. So it was nice of Maria to do that to give her a new jacket and everything. And Maria and Ellie was talking, and she was basically saying you gotta be careful who you trust while you out here on your travels. And Ellie was kind of saying like little words like okay, and it's like she feel more comfortable talking to Joe more than anybody else because that's the type of relationship that they have. So I was just like that was cool. And then it was just nice. And then they showed the scene where Tommy gave Joe some new shoes because, of course, Joe needed some anyway. All that traveling and everything. So I thought that was good and everything. So then Joel and Tommy, his brother, they was talking, and Joe was telling Tommy about Tessa and everything and how everything went down with her. And I was like, Tessa, she just went out hard. She basically bombed that whole building so that Joel and Ellie could escape. She had got bit by the infected person, and I could tell like his head was down, and he was like, it's like he ain't really want to talk about it, but since he was talking to it with his brother, he had to. So then he was telling his brother, he had like some crazy dreams. Every time he woke up, he felt different and everything. And I was like, that was a good moment. I mean, that was really a strong moment right there. He was just really trying to tell his brother about everything. So basically, Joe also told Tommy he wanted Tommy to take Ellie because he didn't want at first he didn't want her to go with him because he said, he had to really think about everything. He had to think about, how was he going to protect her. But I was thinking, Joel and Ellie is so close, you know, so why not just keep going the path that they going? They make a good team. So they had this other good thing where Ellie was talking to Joe, and Ellie was like, "Well, if you're gonna ditch me, just go ahead and ditch me." She already knows, but I guess Joe was like he ain't had no other choice. And then Joe was they had this other nice scene where Joe was telling her, "You don't know what it's like to lose somebody." And then Ellie pushed Joe, and she said she lost everybody, so she knows what it's like to lose somebody. So, and I was like, damn, I guess at dawn they gotta go their separate ways. And then during the night, Joe was thinking about his daughter Sarah from the first episode, getting flashbacks of how that all went down and stuff. And I was like, I knew Joe really had a lot on his mind and stuff. So, Joe was, he was still pushing through and everything. So then in the morning, Ellie, she was all packed up, and Tommy came in her room. Tommy got her, and they went to Joe and Ellie looked at Joe, and she just got on a horse with him. And that was nice because I kind of felt like Ellie, she didn't want to stay there with Tommy. She wanted to go there. She wanted to go with Joe. So she got on the horse, and then Tommy and Joe, they said goodbye to each other and everything. And I was like, all right, well, Joel and Ellie is back together where they need to be. So Joel and Ellie, they got on the horse. They started just going together and everything. They was riding on the horse and everything. So then they showed this next scene where Joe and Ellie, they was training together with the rifle gun. So he put up some stuff for Ellie to shoot, and she was trying to shoot it down. And she was like, "Go ahead, Joe. Let's see you do it." And then Joe did it, and she was just amazed at how he did it. I said, "That's Joe. That's Joe the sniper." So he's real good. So then they finally arrived at this University of East Colorado. Um, yeah, that was a real nice moment. I was like, just like in a video game, we played The Last of Us, arriving at the museum and everything. So it was a very big area, and as soon as they got there, they saw like a lot of monkeys and everything. So they went in the building, and I was like, they gotta be prepared because it could be anything out there. So as soon as they get in the building, they heard this noise up in the building, and Joe looked up and he pulled out his gun, and then they went upstairs. They opened the door of this lab, and it was nothing but lots of monkeys just making all that noise. So they was like, all right, the coast is clear. So then once Joe, he looked outside the window, he was like, Ellie. And then he looked out the window and he saw it was about like four hunters out there. Now this part was something else. So Joe and Ellie, they went downstairs. They tried to go around the guys, and as soon as they was trying to get on the horse, this one guy, he came at Joe. Now I was like, "Go ahead, Joe!" Like Joe took him out. He choked him out and everything. And then I was just like, "Okay, well, Joe got that." But then they showed. I liked how they did that. They showed when the guy had stabbed him right before Joe choked him out. So I was like, damn, like, I mean, Joe was bleeding from his side and everything. I was like, oh man, not Joe. Like Joe just goes so hard up and, up on here. So I was like, damn, man. So Ellie, she had put Joel up on a horse and they was riding, and Ellie turned around and think she shot one of the guys and everything. And as they kept on riding, Joe just fell off the horse because he was bleeding. And then Ellie was sitting there like, Joe, like I need you. Like you can't down me like this. I was like, oh man, I was like, I don't want to see Joe go right there. I was like, I don't want to see him go right now. So I was like, wow. I was like, hopefully he'll be all right though. And that's where they ended right there. So I was like, wow, this was a really good episode. So in the next episode, we're gonna see what's gonna happen with Joe. Hopefully he'll be all right though. But Joe definitely has been through a lot in this series and everything. But episode 6 was good. I hope y'all liked everything. Hope y'all can like and share this out. And stay tuned for the next one next time.